So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of series 2 of this ArchiCAD Now. So basically, the first series was very successful. We had 4 episodes, so running every week at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays, and normally hosted by me and James Badcock, my colleague. In this webinar series, season 2, we'll have 4 sessions, again, on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. So this week's episode, you will see more about building libraries using native objects and external geometry. Then when you register for one webinar episode, you can register for all 4 or only for the ones that matters to you. One thing we made to keep it simple is we use always the same link. So everybody that joined this session today can join further sessions using the same link. You can even share with some of your colleagues that you think that it's relevant information for them. Okay, so next week I'll have James talking about using curtain wall in detail, some tips and tricks. Then on the 14th of July, I'll introduce the Rhino Grasshopper ArchiCAD connections. So we had already a lot of sessions about this in our user days or in the launch of new versions of ArchiCAD, but we feel that it's missing some kind of really introduction to the basics. So how do you get started about this? And then on the 21st of July, there's a typo here, it says June, we'll have Zenru from Goy Architects showing how a remotely connected team can collaborate in real time in the same project. And so they will showcase a bit of their processes and a bit of their designs. They're a very successful firm using this kind of approach. So in webinar series 1, we had the pleasure to have Enzyme presenting, again, parametric design in a very detailed way. This is the Zenru together with colleagues from Goy Architects that will be speaking in episode 4 of series 2. And let's jump into this session about building up library objects by importing either native objects that are available online or external geometry that is also available online. You can get it, and then we manipulate it and enrich them with the specifications with properties. So let's jump into ArchiCAD with this. So how does this work? Basically, we have under ArchiCAD, under the objects, we can look for basic library elements of some furniture, some beds, some chairs. And when we see the chairs, we can go through some parameters, some properties that it has, and we can even choose different types of designs. So some objects have more properties that we can choose from. So for example, if I choose this designer chair, there are several different designs that we can choose here. And even some of them, we can even choose to take out the armrest, right? So these are parametric objects, and they're good because we can very easily on and off the parameters here. So another thing that we can do is we can load libraries of objects that we get from online, right? So in this case, I went to a website called Bimarium, and I got objects, and you see this one, for example, comes from IKEA. We can choose the parameters, we can choose the building material that they have. So there's some level of freedom that we have in terms of choosing properties. Because this is an existing object, it doesn't make sense that we manipulate the geometry. So changing the height, the width, the length. So you see that these properties are hard-coded and they are locked, right? So the chair is 775 millimeters height and so on. So this can also be used in other elements like windows and doors. So I will show you where we can get this kind of information. And even if we want to look for material, for a certain object, let's say I'm looking for a skylight. I just type skylight here under the search function of the objects. And I can scroll down and see each one of these that says 23 are in my loaded library. Every other one is from beamcomponents.com. So you see that it has these 3 dots here. So I can just go to Beam Components portal. This will open the Beam Components, which is powered by Graphisoft. We can go here and download it. So you can download it, drag it to ArchiCAD and use it directly in ArchiCAD. But there are other websites where you can gather this information. So this is what I'll show you now. So for example, as I mentioned, Beamarium, later on I will have Stefan, that is the founder of Beamarium, to explain you a little bit of this. We can use beamobject.com, and we can use some like just geometry websites like 3D Warehouse. So basically, we have objects that are more focused in visualization. So this beamarium.com example. We have more technical websites like beamobject.com. So if you want a specific revolving door that you know that the certain manufacturer has it. So for example, this Dormakaba revolving door KTV4, you want to download and use it in your project. It already comes with the specs, with the details about that the real object has. But we can end up in a mixed situation that, okay, you found a reasonably detailed object that it looks like how you want to use it in ArchiCAD. So I went to this 3D warehouse, this SketchUp warehouse, and I want to download it. So you see here, I just Googled SketchUp EAMS SoftPad Lounge Chair, and this is where it brought me. I can just sign up and download this object, and then let's see how we can use it. For ease of reference, I actually created a step-by-step guide that I will share with all of you. So I will give you a link that you can download, and we'll have the detailed steps of what I'll be doing today, so you can replicate this with any object from your that you intend to use in your project. So let's dig into this and see how we can do this. Okay. So I will have, let's say this is my project area, and I already have an object here. So under ArchiCAD now, I already have this object here. That is the Ottoman chair. So I'll just by drag and dropping inside ArchiCAD, I can place this chair. And what it does is it starts converting it. And you see, okay, the geometry is here. So I'll just select it and show it to you. So we have the object placed. It's a bit fussy. You can see that we have all these triangulations from that comes from the object. So if it makes a face out of every face that the element has here, and we can see the ridges here. So when I select this element here, you can see that it's a object, and I can click and go to the settings and see that, okay, this was an object that just by importing directly into ArchiCAD, it goes into the embedded library. Okay, any questions so far, or everybody following well? Okay, so basically this one goes into the embedded library, and you realize that actually there's no okay, somebody has some sort of music on.
I think Rahimi has that mic.
Okay, can I mute it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So Thanks for the music, but let's go back to it. So basically, you see that by doing this, we have geometry parameters that we can change and we can deform the object. We'll have, you know, some hotspots that are automatically created in the corners. We can choose to edit what is the color of the representation in the floor plan of the lines, and we can also override all the materials of the object. So you see here, it becomes with like overridden with brick now. So basically, what we can do to make this more usable object is the following. First thing, we're going to select the object and we're going to convert it into a morph. So by doing this conversion to morph, you will make this object editable, but with editable parts. So you see here, I have my groups active. Let me see, I think I can move this. Where am I going to put this? Okay, you go here. So if I suspend the groups, I can start, you know, let's say I don't want the armrest, I could have deleted it. Or sometimes I just go under the object and I see what is irrelevant. So let's say these elements here, I don't need to have them, so I can just select and delete them. And who says this? Like sometimes there are very small, tiny pieces here that we wouldn't want to have. Okay, so let's say I keep it like this. I just took the elevation element from it, and now let's see how this looks in the floor plan. So you see, we had the object representation here. Let's see from the embedded library. So this is how it looks as an object. This is how it looks as a morph, right? So let's say after I create this as a morph, I could have, let's say, moved the chair to, more to the front or less, or delete more things. One trick that we can use is also, we can, it not always works, but we can select these morphs, and under the
you can right click the union, the Boolean operation.
Yeah, we could, you know, merge them, make it union, subtract, or we can even go to the morph settings. So check solidity. What I wanted to show is this. So we could go to modify morph, and we can choose to modify the segmentation. So whenever it's possible, I want to have fewer segments, so that this will improve the performance of my ArchiCAD, right? And you look at it, and you know the geometry is still pretty much intact. We can also do another thing, which is choose the type of edge that we want for the morph. So I will put the hidden edges, and I will apply this change to everywhere. So now you see the object, it looks a lot smoother, or the morph looks a lot smoother. So if we show the two in 3D, the original object or the one that is a morph, probably this one you'll be more pleased with the representation. So now what else can we do from this? I'm going to save this cleaned up geometry per se. I'm going to save this as a new object. So I'll just go under File, Libraries and Objects, save the selection as an object, and I will call it EAMS pad or soft pad chair. Okay, and one thing that we can do is choose the two materials that it has. So I always advise to use default materials from ArchiCAD. Otherwise, you will always be adding attributes to your file. So you see here that these objects, these ones that say from converted objects, were the two materials that we brought in from using, from bringing in an external geometry. So let's say I want leather. Actually, this one should be the chrome. So metal, chrome 1. And this second one will be leather. I have here leather tabac. Okay. We can also choose a building material. I don't want water, it doesn't make much sense, but let's say, I don't know, internal filler.
And it's good to rename the setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I was getting. Thank you, James. So we can rename this, let's say the legs or metal parts. And this one is the cushion parts. Okay. So whatever name we add here, we can have it available. So now I save this as an object, and like every object that we just saved, what will happen is that it will be the pre-default object here. You can see that it goes into the embedded library. Then we could go to the embedded library and export it out and save it in a folder that we can then load it in. You can see that the surfaces, it comes with parameters, metal parts, cushion parts. So this is done just by visually, saving the object. You can choose the building materials. So if I go and change here the cushion parts into another color, it will change directly in the object. So there's still some parameters to it. So let's say I want this textile here. There's still some parameters to it that we can take advantage of it. But still, we have this ugly 2D representation that nobody wants to use it. Let's say I had here a 2D representation for the chair that I want to use, right? And this one even has a background fill and then all the lines of the contours of the chair. So how can I replace one thing with the other? So I'll open the object. So I select the object I just created. Then I go under libraries and objects, open object. And this will open the interface for this object, where basically we have here, this is the 2D symbol of the object. This is a 2D representation that we can add to the object. This is the 2D vertical representation of the object. So it's like a projection from the top view of the geometry that was created. So you see the bottom of the chair. So every element are seen here. This is not good for us because it's not a good floor plan representation of the object. This one is a section representation of the object. I would say it's fine because it's like if we see the object from the elevation point of view. This is the 3D view of the object. And we have a preview of the object here that we can add. So all these settings that we see here, they are actually controlled by these elements here. So if I go to the 2D symbol, this is where I can add the 2D symbol of the object. If I go to the preview picture, this is where I can add the preview picture of the object. If I go to the 2D view, this is the top view of the object. And note that here we cannot change this 2D view because this is automatically generated by the vertical projection of the lines of the object. So, and then we have also a 3D view that comes from Archicad. As you can see that I didn't place this object near the origin. It shows me the two kind of UCS for this. So that's why we have this second UCS here. So let's get into the 2D view. And one thing we can do is we can do a marquee, do Control C, and then go to the 2D symbol, do Control V, and then we have these elements here, and then we can start deleting, because these are just lines and fields that we can add to the object, right? So if I create something like this and I save it, when I go to my 2D symbol, you see that this is available here now, right? But still, if I save these settings as an object, this will still be, the 2D representation will still be the vertical projection of this. So I'll teach you a small trick that you don't need to be a GDL master to understand this. So I'll still open the object and show how we can get rid of this 2D representation and actually choose another 2D representation, the 2D symbol that we have chosen, okay? So let's see how we can do this. So we go under the 2D script, and you see that whenever there's like this exclamation mark before, this is commenting the script. So what you see here is actually the polylines that are generating the 2D representation of the object, of the object, yes. So I will select all, and I choose to comment the whole text. Okay, so you see now I have the exclamation mark. So if I comment the text, what you will do is you will say that this is for review. So we will not use that 2D representation that is coming from this script. So I also like to double check if the script is okay, then I click OK. So I get out from here, and immediately you see that no longer this 2D view is available. So now by default, the 2D view that will be shown is this one. Let me get out from here to show you that this is what's happening. So I save. So you see now this is what's happening to the chair. But since I have a 2D representation here, I'll just copy it. And then you see that I have my origin here at the same place as this representation. So then I will go to this object. Yeah, sometimes I have to restart ArchiCAD, so it didn't save this. Let me see, rebuild.
Marcelo, can I just ask one question from Robbie?
Yeah.
So he said that sometimes when he imports an object from the Google or the SketchUp warehouse, that the origin point of the object is often messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had that experience often, where maybe you have the object and then a point kind of outside of it?
So basically, it's how it was saved. So comes from SketchUp. The insertion point is how it was saved. What I advise to do is either in SketchUp you move it, you put it close to the origin, or in ArchiCAD after you convert this into a morph, that no longer is a problem, because it disregards then the origin. So let me close this and open again, because this failed on me. Sometimes it happens that because I'm editing an object, I go in and out a few times. The selection becomes, I don't know, stops working. I'll just launch it.
With the 2D script, I see that you commented it out, but
yeah.
Usually I will just delete all that, because I think it's not so often that you'd want that again, and you can always put the projection code.
You're right. Later. It could work. It could work as well. Yeah, it also works. But let's say you want to get it back. That's then you would do it like that.
Yeah.
So okay, I have the object here. I'll open again the object. You saw that I went to copy those elements. So I'll go here to the 2D symbol. And actually, I don't want this stupid fill. I don't want anything from here. And now we'll just paste this symbol. You see that it falls in the same place. And basically, I'm using background fill with white background color pen. We can choose, to change the color here. One good tip is that the background pen for objects is always pen number 19. I think long-time ArchiCAD users will know this. I try to simplify this into having, the least amount of lines to represent this chair so it doesn't become super heavy. If you want to go even further, you can do that. Just delete a few more. So actually, I think that this fill is not going exactly on the left. Okay. So now I close this. One thing that we can add also, I almost forgot this, is we can add hotspots. So hotspots are insertion points that we can use for the object. So let's say I want to use the center of the chair here. I want to use the back. I want to use this corner. So by default, it places 4 hotspots at the edges of the, let's say, a surrounding box of the object, and then 1 in the center. But if you want to choose, your hotspots to insert it, you see I'm adding all these red spots here, and these will be available then for me to place it. So I have now okay. So I have now my 2D symbol here. I don't have this view. I have the elevation view, the 3D, and the last one I can add here is the preview picture. Okay. So for this preview picture, I will get really an image that I got from the internet about this object. Where is it? So it's exactly this one. So it looks nice. So I will open this image. And I think I can just.
I think you can go select all copy.
I think I can Control C if I copy like this. I think it can be pasted directly. So preview picture, Control V. Yeah. So now I added, a good looking photo is even like from the catalog from Herman Miller. So here I have my object prepared. I don't have time today to go into details. We could go into more parameters here. So you can see here that I have a material attribute metal parts that is using material number 13, material attribute cushion parts, material 25. So if you had a typo or you want to rename these settings, you can just do it here. So let's say that now I'm happy with my object. This is exactly what I want. So I save it. And now you see the 2D representation is much better. I have the 3D of the chair is also very nice. Again, I can select, I can go to the object inventory, so a list from my objects. And I can see, okay, the objects that I have placed. So I placed an ArchiCAD default object. I placed one from Bimarium. I placed the first one that I have created and the second one that I have edited. So you can see here that the quality of the representation is quite nice, the floor plan and all this. So now let's go to the last part of my presentation, which is how can we enrich this with data? So as you can see here, I think I have to close ArchiCAD again because of this editing of the objects. Let me open it up.
In the meantime, I'll ask a question from Zaza, if that's okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she said that importing the 2D representation in the 2D view, what should be the origin reference base point? She encounters sometimes the 2D is shown in the wrong orientation, for example. So I suggested check the 2D view with the 2D symbol.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So basically, one thing you should do, Zaza, is like I showed here, first you go to the 2D view. That is the view that comes out from the projection. You copy and paste it in the 2D symbol so that you know exactly where the origin is. So that's what I've done. And then I copy and paste another one that is more simplified, because you could have a different origin point and then you end up having, you know, a 2D representation that is not the same. So you might have the object here and the 2D symbol is a bit to the side. So if you follow this process, actually I have it again in this step-by-step guide. It shows you that, you know, you won't fail with the positioning. So each one of these objects.
Sorry. If you're interested in a little bit of scripting, I always tend to use the project2 in the 2D scripts, which will always 3D project in the 2D just to check and sort of match the position.
Yeah.
But yeah, checking the symbol layer first is good, or the view first.
Yeah, we could use that also. So it's again going and get the projection, the vertical projection here, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I like to highlight here is, let's say we go to these objects, any object inside ArchiCAD, as long as it's classified as a furniture element, you would have the parameters. Obviously, if it's having the template from ArchiCAD, the default one, you will have the parameters that has the manufacturer, production date, all these properties. So we can go inside each one of these and enrich it with parameters with metadata, right? So you see this one that I got from bMariam. I know that this is a IKEA product, so I went and put on the product website, I put the website for this. And I could put the warranty date, so I could just go inside here and put a custom value myself. So let's say 22 January 2029, okay? So whenever we go to this object inventory as a schedule, this metadata, actually I was very smart, I choose one property that it's not here. But let's say I want to add another thing. Let's say the cost, right? I know this one is the cost. Let's say I want to put $275. So I just put here, and then we can have this as a parameter that we could do, you know, a bill of quantities, or we can save it as an Excel, give it to the client, or even better, once we have this in BIMX, we can tap on the elements and see these properties here. Okay, so pretty much this is what I had to show here. Just highlighting how we can bring geometry and make it look nicer. So I think it's very obvious here that you see like one 2D representation looks a lot nicer than the other, and one 3D also looks nicer than the other. And you have also the added bonus of being able to put the preview photo so that you can show your clients with more detail, and you can enrich with whatever property you want to put here. Okay, so this is the outcome I wanted you to have from here. I'll jump back to the PowerPoint presentation. And today we have the pleasure to have as a speaker here also Stefan, that is joining us all the way from Romania. Is the
Hello guys.
Yeah, hi Stefan. So let's put you on screen. And Stefan was kind enough to, you know, give us a promo code for whoever wants to use his website to download objects. There's a $10 bonus, and if you buy credit, you just email him and it will be doubling the credit you get there. So Stefan, I'll let you share the screen so you can explain a little bit of the website, how it works.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that, Marcel. So let me see how I can get here. Okay. And now I'm waiting for your permission to do that. I still cannot. So how do I do this? Stefan, make present. Okay.
These kind of objects, as I mentioned before, they're very good because they have some level of programming, and you
It seems
are out of it. So can you,
guys, it seems I have to restart my app for just a couple of seconds, and I'm gonna be back because I have to give permission to share the screen.
Okay. We'll open the website and show it myself. Basically, you see, you can look for objects by manufacturer or by brand. Some of the objects are free, some are paid. I won't log in, otherwise you guys see my login. And I'm also a customer, so then you can insert on the.
Marcelo, I still cannot share the screen. Did you give me the permission? Make a.
I will share the screen and you tell me where to click. Is that okay, Stefan?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Screen. Make present.
I think now we can. Oh, okay. Open.
Session.
I still not see your screen. Do you guys see the screen of Marcelo's screen?
No, we don't see either.
Okay. I think I can share it now. I think you can see it now. Okay. Yep. Oh, yep. Perfect. So yeah. Actually, I'm very glad that Marcelo called on me to be with you guys today. I'm gonna explain you very briefly our website. Basically, the website does everything Marcelo was going to explain to us. So if you guys have the time to do that, it's very good because it offers you a lot of options. But if you don't have the time, maybe one alternative for you can be our models. We do have free models and premium models, and the thing is, you can actually go and make an account very simple. You can do that with Facebook or Google, or even by putting your email, and then you just click here on Archicad and you're gonna see all the models that we have. If you need the free ones, you can click the free filter in the left of your screen, and then you can get a lot of free models. And if you need the one that are paid, you can just select the paid filter. And also you have a lot of filters on the left. You can see if, let's say, you want to use an object in the bedroom, you select the bedroom and stuff like that. And what I want to talk to you today is some of the differences between the models that we provide and the ones that you can download, let's say, from 3D Warehouse. So here I have the same model. The one in the left, it's the one from 3D Warehouse, and the one in the right is the one from our website. As Marcelo showed us, if we click the properties here, we can change some of the properties really quick, or you should go into the GDL scripting and try to change from there. But in our model, if you click the properties, let's see, you can see here very simple that you have all the materials. Let's say I want to change the material from the shell. I click the yellow one and it's in the preview. I can see it, and then also if I'm clicking OK, I can see it here. And the thing is, besides this very easy way of changing the materials, you also have the clean geometry, the clean 2D, and also the clean geometry. If you see here, in the left is the imported model, and in the right it's our model. And also you can have the preview also in the Archicad. Just a second. In the Archicad browser here, and also you can see it in your downloads folder. Here you can see the preview of the model. I think this helps a lot. by speeding up our workflow as architects or designers. And another thing I wanted to say is that our models are not that heavy, so you can put as many of them as you want in your file. So you're not gonna end up with, let's say, 2 gigabytes of ArchiCAD file. So they are not heavy and they can be used in large numbers. So basically, this is our website and the services that we provide. And as Marcello said, we are giving $10 if you use the code. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the code. And here in the right screen, when you're going to make when you log in, you're going to see your name. And here, if you click my plan, here you have the tab of promotions, and you put here the promotion code, and then you hit continue, and the credit is gonna appear in your right corner. And that's how easy. And also on Beamarium, you can see you pay only once, and then you have all your list, everything that you've been loaded, you have it stored here, and you can download as many times as you want. So there's no need for you to store the models in your computer, because in the computer it's very hard to find them. Here you have everything well arranged. So I think this is it from me, Marcello.
As a user, I can tell you that it's also very nice. I can see here the question from Terence. He's asking
Okay.
Count. One thing, actually, I have that on the PDF. So Terence, you can. One of the things I did here is actually did a polygon count and see how many polygons he has. So I think Stefan, when you bring the geometry, you also reduce the polygons, or you always have that?
We build. No, we don't reduce the geometry, but we build it with fewer polygons from the beginning. So our geometry is symmetrical and it has fewer polygons. So it's very good to work with it. So we don't bring a bigger object and then reduce the polygons. We build the whole model with fewer polygons, and then we can make more if we want to do that. But we keep it simple for the user.
So guys, don't miss this code. You have a lot of objects that are free. $10 can get you also at least 10 objects, and you just Stefan, if you want to get this.
And also for everything that you need, maybe you encounter a problem or you need some help, you don't hesitate to contact me, email or the email from the website.
Fun. So now moving on, what else do I have to show you today? You can download a step-by-step guide by taking a snapshot of this QR code. It will bring you to a link where you can download a step-by-step guide that does exactly, or that shows you everything that I've demoed here today. This will also be later presented in social media, so we will share this into so the links either shared on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, so you can follow us there. We already have the season 1 of this webinar series shared on our YouTube channel. It's Graphisoft SG. So you just Graphisoft SG and you find us. Add other content besides this. So we have a user day webinar there. We have these ArchiCAD Now sessions. And I would like to ask you to complete a short survey of our of these webinars. This allows us to know what kind of content you would like to see in next sessions. We already took that into consideration when planning this season. And also it can tell us, little areas that we can improve. I know I can't be much better than I am, but James has a lot of room for improvement, right, James?
Hey.
And And the other thing I'd like to highlight, you guys can, for our clients in SG and see our courses. So the courses that are online for our clients on SSA, you can join the basic training. The upcoming dates are here in this slide, so you can take a snapshot if you want to join for it. We also have planned advanced modeling and advanced documentation this thing I would like to bring it up to you is that we will have the launch of ArchiCAD 24 in the global digital event called Building Together. This will be on the 8th and 9th of July 2020. You can register today at the website buildingtogether.com.graphisoft.com, or you just take the QR code to bring you there. This is going to be really nice because there will be key clients worldwide presenting how they use ArchiCAD and how that Fender Katsalidis from Australia, showing the tower, Merdeka Tower, with 118 floors that was designed with ArchiCAD. So I'd say this is very interesting. And we have also a lot of features for engineers, so you can invite your engineer that you normally collaborate with to have a look at this event. So thank you all for coming for this session. I have just an extra slide here that I could show. Whoever see our, so Catherine will be presenting now, actually starting in 3 minutes. So I hope I'm still on time. She probably already left us.
Yeah, she just left.
Chat the YouTube link. This is not a listed video. So whoever wants to see, she will be sharing how the is in Singapore in terms of BIM, how they've been using BIM in their Catherine and Ian. She's a reference for us here in Singapore. So I think that since the timing is one next to the other, why not just jump there and see her presentation? I think it would be about 20 minutes. This doesn't mean that we wouldn't want her to present here, even if it's repeated content. I think everybody is interested in seeing how. So I'd like to thank everyone. We can go to some Q&A if all the questions were not answered. And so let's through all the questions, or I see Terence asked about the poly count, worth the difference. I think that it's Catherine and Ian just left to go for her session.
Yeah, maybe explain where to get that poly count. Yeah, sometimes your audio is cutting out, but I don't know if it's just me.
Let me take off. Can you hear me all well now?
Yep. Nope, still cutting out a bit.
Let's see. Okay. So we go on palettes, and if we are 3D, we can just count and we polygons of only one object if we want. So if I choose this one and I the object selection only, refresh, see that this object has 5,600 polygons. Let's this other, I think, is the same. It's even more. So we here the number of polygons we have. So pretty, I think this is it in terms of questions. Karen, and with a slide for you to down the session here. And thank you all for joining, and stay connected, and see everyone next week. Stefan, thank you again for sharing and for supporting our community, and looking forward to catch up with you. It was here. So guys,